Here at the National with Collect TV, and joining me is Jim Spence of JSA, who recently sold the business to CCG, CGC, people know. It's always great to see you.
Great to be with you, Darren.
Tell me about autograph collecting over time in a minute or less. What has
Wow.
happened, say, in the last, let's shorten it to the last 10 years.
Well, it's certainly no more a hobby anymore. It's really an industry, and this show reflects that. There's scores of people coming in. It's unbelievable. A lot of younger folks are starting to enter into the hobby, which I didn't see 10 years ago. Um, they've done a really good job of getting people in the door here.
What about, obviously you guys are all about, authenticity. Uh, do you see more fake autos, more what have you seen coming into your place, say in the last 10 years?
It's unbelievable. I mean, how much merchandise comes in. We're on the road, the items that come in, whether they come in by people coming to our office or they're coming in via mail, it's really exploding. We're actually overseas a lot now too. We have a very good following in the Middle East.
You guys went to Dubai, I
We're
think.
in Dubai, Bahrain, Kuwait. I mean, we're really expanding this. I mean, even we this is an amazing statistic. JSA authenticates more signatures on Funko Pops than we do baseballs.
Okay, I don't get that. I don't get it. It seems like there's a lot of them, which you don't want to glut if you're collecting. The Funko Pop thing, I could never imagine. You're signing it on a surface that's could be compromised pretty easily. Pen could skip easily, right? And now there's encapsulation of Funko Pop. So how did that happen?
Entertainment is actually bigger than sports, and people can relate to it over there. I mean, when we go to the Middle East, we're not authenticating baseball autographs. It's they love the American cinema, and
Hollywood.
oh my lord, yeah, and they're willing to pay. I mean, it's incredible how much stuff comes in with that. We're doing it, and they're signing it on the cellophane in Sharpie or paint pen, and it sells. It's amazing. I would never have thought that.
I think autographs are getting worse and worse from the current players. So that's a major issue. Is it harder to authenticate when they're just scribbles?
Yeah, sometimes we do go inconclusive when we don't feel confident. Fortunately, we have a large team of authenticators, so it's never one man's opinion.
Right.
We have the largest database in the world. We follow autographs. We have guys that chase autographs. We know their styles, what they like to sign, what they don't like to
When
sign.
they're signing sitting down, when they're signing when they're caught in the airport, how it
Correct.
looks, whether it's shortened
Hmm.
or lengthened. Yeah.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'd much rather be authenticating Babe
Harmon
Ruth
Harmon
autographs, Harmon
Killebrew.
Killebrew. That's for sure.
Okay, let's talk about CCG, CGC. Big move. I know for a long time you guys have been trying to get to the encapsulation business, but frankly, there was so much business coming in, you like never had time. So
We just didn't have the bandwidth. You're right.
yes,
And
how quickly does this happen in terms of encapsulation?
well, it actually at this show we started doing autograph cards for the first time. We've already been a month and a half into doing the comic books, which is it was an instant success. I
Because
mean,
it was a major problem for people that don't know. They put a green label on it if they could not authenticate the auto, and they only authenticated the auto if it was an in-person sign situation, and that became a negative for
mm,
the comic book. People are like, wait, what is it, fake? And it's like, no, it's inconclusive, but like it didn't even deserve that. So that was something with how big CGC's comic book business was. It was something that they needed you for.
oh, day one we authenticated 1,000 autographs on comic books, and we left it on more on the table. Our guys had to go home, so they're working out the logistics of that now. We're in on a regular basis. Cards are going to be the same thing. It's amazing how many cards are going to be coming in looking for the JSA/CGC
Can,
logo.
can we talk about on card autos? I
Sure.
mean, what a flip! I mean, for forever it was don't ever get your card autographed. That'd be the stupidest thing. It's defacing the card. Don't do it. And in the last like 3 years, especially like anything Mantle, wow, you had the foresight to get it signed, and now they are just being eaten up by the hobby. Why do you think
Oh,
this happened?
I remember years ago, the late Alan Rosen used to
Yes,
say,
Mr. Mint.
"Don't ever get anything signed on a card; it's going to devalue." And quite honestly, I didn't agree with him. I bucked the system. I've been collecting trading cards signed since I was a little kid, and it paid off because I've got these tens of thousands of cards. I really don't own any really post 1974. I really collected my youth and prior. So I've got all
50s and
these.
60s.
Oh my lord, I've got so many of them, and they look great encapsulated. I mean, not only are you framing them, getting a grade on them, making sure they're authentic, but it also makes them tremendously marketable, and it protects the card. So
And by the
everybody
by
loves
the
it.
way, by the way, for all the pens you could use today, a lot of them are ballpoint and they're pretty good. I mean, not you don't have the skipping problems. You don't have
Correct.
the with it. So that's also something that they're beautiful.
They've refined it over the years, but interestingly enough, a ballpoint pen, a simple, they used to call it a 19-cent Bic pen,
Yeah, sure.
is really the best thing for you to get. And baseballs as well.
Right.
I mean, I remember people coming out with Mont Blanc
Oh
pens
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
Parker
yeah.
pens, and they were so refined, the ink, that a little bit of light, they started to fade. But at least the ballpoint is indelible. You're right, the skipping, they did away with that. They made it smoother in the early years, in the early 1950s. They got the ball to roll a lot better.
It's amazing. Okay, we're ending with this one. What is the most rare autograph you see in a year? Is it like what is it, Thomas Lynch? I mean the Button Gwinnett.
Bunny Gwinnett,
But
yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
literally like one a year, and these Declaration of Independence guys gotta have it. What's the one that when you come into JSA you say, "Oh my God, this is even for an autograph geek. I have not seen it all."
Right. I mean, Button Gwinnett is very, very desirable. I think there's maybe, a dozen or less. The guy died in a duel shortly after the Declaration of Independence was signed. I mean, if you want to move it into sports, people think, oh my God, Joe Jackson is probably the rarest. Maybe there's less than 50, 60 autographs of him. But the idea is that it's so desirable and so it's so wanted in this industry that's one of the ones that piques my interest. And I happen to own one myself,
Ooh.
so I'm very happy to do that. And the mystique of him not getting in the Hall of Fame, that
And
also
him
people
being
love the
basically
scandal.
illiterate,
Well,
or
yes, he was functionally illiterate.
functionally illiterate,
He
right?
could sign his name, cipher numbers, but you weren't going to really get a salutation out of him.
Most faked autograph?
Ooh, it's probably Jordan, Michael Jordan. We see,
Thank
highest
God the
percentage.
J is hard to get.
Yeah,
You know right away, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, he's got competition too. Tiger Woods, LeBron James. I mean, but even in quantity, Mantle, Williams, and DiMaggio. There's even a far greater quantity, but the percentage of bad is not as bad as those three I just mentioned.
Jim Spence from JSA. Thank you so much for joining us at the
Thanks, Darren.
National.
Pleasure.